It's because I don't have my window all the way open.
It's 268. Yeah.
You make it sound like that's a problem.
It's a lot. It's a lot of times to get it right or wrong.
We always get it right.
Do we?
No.
Because we haven't. And it's been, can we stop this recording?
No.
Okay, fine.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing
and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Limit Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run.
SECA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and build it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips and tricks, as well as news and notes.
From the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, oh, sweet, we're lucky enough, and Chrissy.
And I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a Roblox error code episode of our podcast. It's episode 268, and where you might see error 268 while playing Roblox when you've been disconnected and kicked out due to an unexpected client behavior. I'll assume you're not playing Roblox right now. So just grab your Ewinar bingo card right now.
I got to know who wrote that.
Me.
Oh, I had no idea you had any clue about roadblocks.
I don't.
I had
Okay.
none. Still.
I have a
Maybe.
14-year-old.
Now I know one error code.
So I have a basic general knowledge of what Roblox is and how annoying it can be to listen to extremely long stories from the 14-year-old about Roblox.
So I know very little. I've heard of the thing called Roblox. I might have seen it somewhere, but when you go, I don't want to even tell listeners, when you Google the number and I put images in, I found all the error codes. So that's what I went with.
There you go.
Yeah.
Error
Now,
codes it is.
sure. Mental, what the heck are you up to?
Well, as we were just talking before we started recording, and I was sitting in the wrong thing. I just got in from SEMA. We were there Monday, yesterday, and even today, and we'll go back tomorrow. And
Awesome.
checking all the new stuff. Short version, the absence of the OEMs that weren't going to be there, Ford didn't show up and Honda didn't show up. Actually, I think made the show a little better. It's a little bit more about products and manufacturers and stuff. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
We've been-
Nissan was still there because I know they're hawking the 400Z like nobody's business.
No,
No, they're not.
not. I was anticipating that would be the ding car this year.
Let's explain the ding car because we were talking about it on Slack, but what's the ding car?
So if you go to SEMA, and I forget who did it years ago. Actually, I think it was 2019 when you guys came out, but somebody went and got every new Toyota Supra that one of the product showcases and just made a ding noise every time they saw them. And it's like a 10-minute video. Ding,
Ding,
ding, ding, ding.
ding.
And then it was the Bronco. I forget, but this year I was expecting to see the 400Z. Saw a couple, but no. Saw more Rivians than I saw 400Zs.
Oh, really? Huh.
Mhm.
Surprise.
I would say if anything's a ding car this year, it's actually probably a Tesla 3.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay.
That
So,
many
Lots
of
of
them?
aftermarket products for the Tesla 3.
tons,
Huh.
including an electronic exhaust.
Mm.
Yeah. That'll be
Wow.
on the Instagram.
No.
Do what you want with that one.
That's cool.
Then I finally, after just carefully maintaining a under a threshold of frustration, got the heater core back in the Volvo, got it all bolted back together. The cooling system was watertight, held up, car ran great. And now the cam seals are leaking, dumping oil at an alarming rate. And it's this close to getting set on fire.
Oh.
So,
Hmm.
and
Mental's adventures in cheap European cars continues.
exactly.
That's
And
why I bought
then
Asian.
we've talked about this, and there'll be more on this in a second. If you have an American Express card, you are given the opportunity to attempt to buy pre-sale Formula One tickets.
Keyword attempt.
Bingo. Check that out on our Instagram for 20 minutes. No, sorry, that's been taken. No, that's right. So congratulations, Ticketmaster, you worthless pile of regurgitated dog vomit. I can't believe you are slowly ruining F1 and F1. I can't believe you're partnering with Ticketmaster to do the same thing. We'll get on there, but yeah, don't have tickets. Not sure I want them now. So screw you, Ticketmaster. You
Man, I was all
friggin'
ready to go.
I was
troglodyte.
disappointed to see it was Ticketmaster too, because it's like, God damn it.
There are other
Seriously,
ways
Talk
to
about
sell
like,
tickets.
is there a company that everyone universally hates more than Ticketmaster?
If it
I
is,
mean,
Let
it
me
used to
think
be
for just a
Comcast,
moment. Let me
but,
think.
but
Yeah.
some people, Comcast,
Not everybody
people
has
are like-
Comcast. Almost
Yeah.
everybody buys tickets through Ticketmaster.
when we bought our tickets, Formula One tickets 10 years ago in Abu Dhabi, they were delivered by courier in a book that opened up to be a pop-up, and there were our passes. It was a wonderful thing, but no,
that's Abu
Ticketmaster.
Dhabi too, but
yeah.
yeah.
And again, it's in our news and notes, but it's infuriating.
Like
well.
really, if you can think of a company that's more universally hated than Ticketmaster, let us know. Like I
Seriously.
can't think of one.
No,
I got nothing.
they are the Nissan Altima.
No one has anything
Of
good to
sales.
say about Ticketmaster.
They are the Dodge Journey of experiences, fan experience.
Except you're not forced to drive a Dodge Journey all that often.
But if
I
you
figured you wanted-
were,
Yeah, they're the you just landed in the airport for a convention. You're the last one at the rental car counter. You know you're getting the Ultima.
yeah.
You have no choice.
That's a sad game all over the
The
place.
60,000 mile Altima.
We'll do
Four
this more in
mismatched
news and notes.
tires.
So why don't
Yes.
we keep moving?
So obviously all of you had quite the emotional weekend.
Yes, we did.
But because Jeff has something that's not racing. So let's start with Jeff and work our way through.
Well, we did race this weekend in New Hampshire Motorsports.
We did.
It was the Lemons Halloween Hooptiefest and the drive home. So for those of you who weren't there and didn't come up to me and say, "Hey, where's your brother?" Let me just say that he did not make the race. He had a dental issue, which he got fixed today, but he said the drugs were wonderful all weekend long. His face blew up like you wouldn't believe. Big
Really? Because I
infection.
thought I saw a post of him watching a baseball game.
Oh, it was a
Nope.
soccer game.
It was
But
soccer
by
game.
Sunday, he said he wouldn't be able to put on the helmet because nothing could touch his face. So he was like, I could have gone and watched,
I mean,
but I wasn't gonna do that.
we had a
so.
good time.
Yeah. He wasn't so sure Thursday when it was time to leave. So, but anyway, so I did that. We raced. I drove
Feel
home.
better soon, Jim.
We had Halloween, so I had to cart my son around and do the parent hang out in somebody's kitchen and eat hors d'oeuvres while the kids are out trick-or-treating. So that was fun. And then we had had to, yeah, and it was fun though. I had Boy Scouts where I had to teach them about diversity and equity. That was fun. So
Oh,
all
that's
of
your-
this busy
good at that.
things, I literally just returned the RV to my parents' house right before the show. So my neighbors must love me for parking that thing on the street since Sunday night.
I think they
That RV
probably.
is not the ugliest thing in your
I was
street.
just going to say, they're used to it. They're not surprised.
They're like, oh, the RV's there. It's blocking the driveway. Now I can't see all that other crap.
You're probably not wrong.
Nope.
That was
Yep.
it. Yeah. Chris, you had a ride home.
Yeah. Since the last show, what did we work on? I mean, got the car ready, packed, gone, went to race, did the race. We'll talk about that. Got home, fine. And then we've been unpacking, typical post-race hangover, but I've managed to get the Mazda into the garage and give it a once over, and starting to fix it. So the butcher bill is exhaust leak, I'm resealing the oil pan because it has a seep that it's kind of had all year, and like, well, this is the time to do it. Let's get that done.
Tie rod.
Yeah,
Tie
there's
rod.
the left side tie rod, the boot is torn, so I'm replacing that. I double checked the rear hubs because they broke on us once a year ago. So now every race I take the rear brakes apart and really look. So I don't want to have that crack again.
Suspension top hat.
Where was
I
the
tightened a couple bolts in the suspension. That's all that's been done now. I blew out the water from the cooling system, the cool shirt system that lives in the car constantly and has water in it.
Gross.
I drained all the water and filled it back halfway up with coolant. All those little things.
Where was the exhaust leak? Because we had broken exhaust
Maybe
couplers
we'll get
and
there.
manifolds.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later. It was the
Okay.
flex joints.
Okay. So a new location.
Yes.
Correct. Doesn't mean that
Another
it's right.
A different location.
Yeah.
So I'm reimagining the exhaust for the
Alright.
future.
Imagine.
Mhm. The more you know.
The more you know,
No,
right?
but it's coming along nicely. Once I get the
That's
yeah,
so I just
once
did that.
once I
didn't
get
do
the
this-
pan
you didn't do
sealed
the
back
music.
up.
That's better.
Thank you.
Once I get
I'll-
the pan sealed up on the tie rod, it'll just be the exhaust after that, which is going to take some fab work to redo. But
It could
We
be
should
worse.
Not too
mention
bad.
because
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it basically race prepped for the
'Cause
next
it's
race.
so
in the
nice to get
spring.
it out of the garage and it be
Yeah,
race
and
prepped.
yeah, I want in April just to take it out of the garage, flush the brake fluid, put different tires on it, and flush the
And-
water out.
Yeah, water.
Call it
We
good.
should mention this is the Mazda 3
Correct.
because we didn't mention that. We just assumed.
Correct.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead, Chrissy.
I took off Monday, which I never take off Monday, and it was glorious. I slept in, I emptied the truck myself, I cleaned up, and by Monday night, by Halloween, we were pretty well cleaned up. So I done 5 loads plus of laundry and emptied all of the boxes of all of the. I know.
I haven't even gotten the
Um,
laundry in the hamper, let alone in the washer yet.
Yep,
Well,
they're
between
they're all
the
done
race
folded.
gear,
They're
the clothes, the linens,
sheets, the
the
towels, the
Yeah.
all of the above. They're all done, all folded. All of the utensils are out of all of the boxes, coffee makers, everything, all clean. So that's been all good. Just trying to clean up, and now we're here, and pretty well the hangover has moved on. So yeah, excited to now talk about what we did.
I was about to yell.
Okay, go ahead, yell.
News and notes time. By the way, if you hear any extra yelling tonight in the, it's because the Phillies game is on, and my wife is right above me watching, and she will cheer and stomp if anything good happens.
And I'd like to, while we're here, because we're friends with the lovely and talented Jen. You should have let her buy the ticket, Jeff.
I told her she was okay to buy the ticket as long as she won that much in the lottery.
Ooh. Also, sorry, not sorry. If I turn my head, I also might be watching the game. So there's
Well, since we're talking about tickets that we can't afford, Mental already mentioned it, but it looks like the F1 Las Vegas partnering with Ticketmaster is screwing everybody, and everyone who wants to go even harder than usual. What was probably going to be one of the most exciting F1 races next year, nighttime, downtown, street course in the playground of America. So tell me about this Amex pre-sale, Mental.
If you had an American Express card,
Yeah.
you got a chance to try and buy tickets
Well,
on Tuesday.
We
On
have
Tuesday,
Amex cards, and we tried to find the thing to be able to buy
Oh.
through Amex, and we couldn't even find it. So I
It
don't
was
know.
yep, we scrolled through the member services, and it was literally button click here
Yeah.
to get your
yeah,
F1.
I was thinking
and
about
then
that.
they texted you a code while you're on Ticketmaster, and
Well, none of that mattered because Mental already mentioned that he got screwed. Just so you understand what the pre-sale ticket pricing was. Hospitality tickets, that means it's a ticket that comes with food and things like that, and special seating, $8,000 a butt. Grandstands, start and finish line, $2,500. Grandstand by the MSG Sphere, I'm not really sure what that is.
that's the Madison Square Garden Sphere. That is turned 4, 5, 6, and 7.
All right.
yeah.
That is $2,000 each.
Mhm.
General admission standing room is $500 each, and that sold out in 30 minutes.
And I don't think people bought them. I think that was all bots.
Oh.
Probably. And also we know that on street courses, standing room only is terrible because you don't get to see much of the track. Unlike a racetrack where there's hills
Right,
and
and
things where you can,
grandstands, like
you
like in Mexico, you're in the baseball stadium. Like you
well,
can, I mean, they might
that's
be
if you
fall,
buy a seat.
sure, but like there's plenty of places that have hills that or
Yeah.
some place that is elevated stadium like that you'd be able to see
Yeah.
over the person's head.
Yeah. Well, and I like, with like Spa Franco shit, there's all the like the hills and things.
Yeah,
you can
right,
sit
that's
in,
what I was
Probably
getting at.
bring a
cheaper to
blanket.
fly to Belgium and get a ticket for Spa somewhere.
You're
than it is
probably
to do
right.
this. Yeah.
Yeah,
By the way, this makes Las Vegas a more expensive ticket than Monaco.
that's crazy.
That's before Ticketmaster adds their 12% fee. Oi, the kicker, it's only on the non-strip side of the course. So they're only really selling half of the course. So as Elizabeth Blakenstock says at Jalopnik, it seems like the Las Vegas Grand Prix is catering to the big ticket buyer, which is this is not the US fan base that they're trying to build. Cut it out.
Does that mean
Now-
it's what now? That was
So,
pre-sale. That was
I assume the strip side is all going to people who buy hotel rooms.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably, right? Because that's
We get that at SEMA, they had a map of the course and they had the seating chart, because the sale was this week, and they had the Caesar zone, Planet Hollywood zone, and all of those, as opposed to, all of the F1 tickets you could buy through the F1 site. None of them are on the Las Vegas Strip.
So those are all for the casinos.
They're
that will
it's
charge
on,
you.
Koval, and it's around the start finish line, and Koval is a block, runs parallel to the Las Vegas Strip. So yeah, and not even like good. Well, the MSG Sphere might be interesting, but yeah, the rest of it.
does that mean we're out? Done?
It means we're going to Austin. That's what it means.
Okay. That's a
Yeah,
shame.
They really had a chance to really set attendance records. They really could have done this better. They could have solidified a fan base, and I feel like they are slowly screwing it up. But that's just me being a local complaining.
You have a right
I think
to
the
be.
Canadian Grand Prix is a better choice than the
Actually, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
You
problem
can
is
you're there.
I have a place to stay for free in Austin.
Oh, and
I have a place to play
stay
to stay for
Vegas.
free in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but the
But
ticket is crazy.
Corey, our buddy Corey was thinking he might just buy tickets to the early festivities and then come over here and then sit in an Airbnb and watch the race. Which
I mean,
is
that's
sounding
not a
more and
bad
more like a
idea.
bad plan. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then the general admission, the most potent alcoholic beverage you could have is the Heineken 0%. I don't know if they've ever been to Las Vegas before, but that sure is
What?
hell. Yeah.
That
there's
is very anti Las Vegas.
right.
Like,
Yeah. So-
Las
But you
I-
can have all the Coke you want, right? So like that's okay. We can just
That's Coca-Cola, by the way.
no, that's not what I meant.
Oh no,
Yeah, you might, it's Las Vegas. You got to be a little specific on that one. Yeah, it is. I don't think they're understanding the market, even their market. So yeah, that's why Canadian Grand Prix, you bring a cooler full of beer, nobody cares.
Yeah. And it's closer. I mean, we just drive there. That's no problem.
So much of the economy of the casinos is to sell you a drink.
So apparently
many
the Canadian
slushy
Grand Prix,
bars and okay,
the
go ahead.
3-day grandstand ticket is the mid-range is $395 Canadian.
That's like $18.
Right.
Okay. What did we miss the pre-sale?
I don't know.
Okay, fine.
You missed the Amex pre-sale. If you
No.
paid
No.
that
From
the
Montreal. We've
Canadian.
already given up in Las Vegas. So sorry, not sorry. I'm sad now. All right, let's keep on my trail.
Keep
Anyway,
moving.
let's keep moving. In news about companies not screwing over their fans, Hot Rod magazine will make every issue from 1948 to 2021 available online. Aaron Cole
Awesome.
at The Drive tells us that Hot Rod has digitalized more than 128,000 pages, covering over 900 issues, including the hundreds of thousands of photos, ads, and books of stories spanning 74 years. Aaron adds that part of the car culture is preserving history, and it's encouraging to see others taking up that mantle too. Nothing is free. This does require a Motortrend account, but fun to have.
I'm
Cool.
still looking at Canadian Grand Prix stuff.
Are you
it's been-
listening, F1? Do you see what you have done to your fan base?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I think I don't know how much of this is F1 and how much of it's Las Vegas, because there's a whole lot of money grubbing in Las Vegas in some parts of it. Yep. Anyway,
Speaking of old magazines, can I give a shout out to? I got to pull up his name here. I don't know whether it's a real name or not. Brock Buckingham on the V8 Swap 300Z forums sold me a shifter relocator and a shifter for the 300Z transmission to put in the RX-7. And the packing peanuts he used were ripped up Haggerty magazines.
Oh,
And he actually like took a giant centerfold of a DeLorean and he put it on top of the box. So when I opened it, it was like, oh look, a poster of a DeLorean. And I was like unfolding pages and reading about like the Daytona Shelby Z is the greatest. It was great. Brock, thank you.
Well done. Good
Great
on you,
part.
man.
Great surprise when I opened the box. You're the man. And now I got to get to work on the car. Go on.
good plan.
okay. Well, hey, it's been everywhere this past weekend, but if you haven't seen it, Ross Chastain pulled the video game move everyone has done and riding the wall in the final turn of the Martinsville NASCAR short track. So he needed to pass 2 cars to get into the championship. So he sent it. He floored it. He shifted to 5th gear and he ran with his right side along the wall at 160 miles an hour, passing 5 cars, moving from 10th to 5th in 1 corner. So the reactions by the other drivers are priceless. It's worth the watch. NASCAR is rumored to be furiously working on a new rule because he is the first person to actually pull this off. And in doing so, he set a new lap record of 18.845 seconds. So
Yeah.
what did he have to lose?
I do have something. I want to see if I can make this work. Hopefully, yep, share sound. This is just a clip from NASCAR's Twitter page.
All right, we're waiting.
Wait.
Did I get there?
Drop the fence outside of you.
Oh, no.
That's your next desktop.
We see your desktop,
Yes, it does
not
work.
the video.
Do you see that?
I didn't see it because I saw your video or your
Desktop.
desktop.
Try this one more
You
time.
said shared audio. I
Every
think it's supposed
time.
to share video.
We are really bad at tech. La 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 la.
I've ever seen in my life. That was straight video game. That was incredible. Watch one ripping the outside wall of the fence. Holy unbelievable. Wow. I'm pretty sure he got in with that. That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen to one done. What's the one doing? He was trying to play hold it wide open and go. He did it. That is insane. Did he pass people doing that? Yeah, he got in the final 4 doing that. Holy Come and check your gap for 1. Cover your bottom up off. What in the hell? Good job. He put it on the fence and went wide open there. I don't know if he beat yeah, he did. He beat the freaking BT11. What's the one outside over here? Outside. I guess we just lost on that. Well, I've never seen anything like it, but the other one, he's in, and the one Hail Mary defense in 3 and 4 and got it. Wow. Did all I could do, Chris. 2 spots here.
Here's the number 1. Here's him doing it.
Yeah, I gotta get him. Need 2.
Oh, your video is.
That's okay. Everyone's seen the video.
Keep
Keep
coming.
coming.
Hang on, man.
Keep coming.
Checker
Hang on.
flag. Nice and easy. Keep it up against the fence there. Talk to me, boys. You made the transfer. You made the transfer, man. That was fucking ridiculous, dude. That was wild, man. That was.
So the best
I know
part
we're
is,
not. I know we're not NASCAR people, but that was just.
yeah,
He even said in the interview, I did that when I was a kid playing video games.
yeah, on his GameCube. So it puts us with age. So you saw the one number 11. That's Denny Hamlin. He actually got eliminated from the playoffs by getting beat. If I understand it correctly, my knowledge of NASCAR, probably there's NASCAR people out there going, shut up, Jeff. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. There's only like 4 people who make the race next week. I don't know what's going on. NASCAR's weird, but that was awesome.
So yeah.
Cool.
What's next?
All right.
Well, you know what else is awesome?
Tell us.
Racing Junk.
Tell us, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm hanging out at the Racing Junk booth, and you remember last year when we
It's
were
a
at PRI,
700-horse daily
they were
driver.
giving away a
But the
Borowski
winner of, the one
racing
that we just
motor.
gave away,
And
a
here is
month or two
Jim
ago,
telling us about the
he had it
$18,000,
customized
700 horsepower
for his
LS that
2007
they gave out last
Trailblazer.
We
year.
can't really
which you
hear
already
both of you
have
at the same time,
pro-charger.
so it's not working. Like, because he's
Alright.
skipping a lot too.
So
Yeah.
he's going to have that in, and actually he's going to be on our booth at PRI.
You can tell us about it.
Yes. Check out our Instagram because I posted the video. I actually made a video, obviously, hey, we're here at the racing booth. And Joe walks over and goes, you guys want to know anything about the engine? I'm like, well, we're media partners. And he just starts talking about the engine. So it's a 700 horsepower streetable LS engine. It's worth about 18 grand. We have the link to get registered on there. And the guy that won the one last year that we talked about at PRI had it built to put in his Trailblazer SS, which he already had a Protec supercharger for.
That'll work.
Well,
Mental, I love my racing junk.
you were like
t-shirt.
all weekend.
I
You
did.
did.
I did. And I had 2 red shirts. You just didn't notice because one was a Philly shirt. But anyway, so yeah, I love my racing junk T-shirt. Did they just give out the T-shirts again?
I will go and ask when I go there
You
tomorrow.
snag me an XL, you'll be my buddy.
I will do
He'll be-
my absolute level.
He'll be your buddy
best.
anyway.
That's
won't he?
true. That's true.
Okay.
Upcoming racing.
Thank you. The only race we have going on is Lemons' MSR this weekend for the Sutton and Sploden soiree. There is 108 cars, 15 of them BMWs. Oh, come on. That doesn't even get a
That's not too
boring.
bad though. That's
No,
okay.
it's amazing.
And like half
8,
of those are Ginger Race Team BMWs. And
Right?
That's true.
8 Miatas, 8 Hondas, 3 Porsches, Luminas. There's plural Luminas too.
That's even better.
And the return of the Checker Marathon. That's
Oh.
so much fun. Not owned by
Rich
Rich.
found somebody to buy that thing.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
think
him.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Madsen Racing is going to be campaigning that car. And so when everyone goes, oh, I can't believe that car's a Class C because he started these kind of laps. Well, the guy's a professional racer.
It's a
Hilarious.
checker
It's a
marathon.
checker
Where else
marathon.
would you-
Exactly.
Marathon.
If you get beat by a checker marathon, you're the problem.
it still has the bumpers that are like they took a piece of guardrail and just stuck it on there. That's what it looks like.
That
Guardrail made out of molybdenum. It's like
Right. I was
Yeah.
going to say that'll kill you first, not them. Race report.
God, we're going to talk about the actual race. So let's just bang through the winners and maybe give a little aside about each one. Who won on laps, Chrissy?
We did 3 p.m. Spetty
not
did.
really.
but
Spetty.
we-
Tally.
Yes.
I'm
Tally
sorry,
came to the
Tally.
victory.
Tally.
Well, if I just
Hey,
get a little bit high, then I can win.
Good
this
job
race.
for those guys. Good job for Bruce. He's still got a busted wheel. So they only had 2 of the normal drivers, and then they let perennial winner Amanda, that we all love, drive, and maybe that was the key
And Paul.
because they
And Paul,
smoked him.
And
Paul's
Paul
almost
too,
at
you're
the
right,
fast
you're right.
lap
Yeah, Paul.
too. He did a great job.
Yeah, Paul's an animal.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. IOE, the Lancia Scorpion by Flatball Racing, that was much better behaved this time. They were not really in the way like they often have been in the past. So well done, guys. And they kept a Lancia running pretty much all weekend. So,
Yep.
yeah, kudos.
Class B, we're not going to talk about it because we're going to talk about it later.
Okay.
The Cressida.
I don't.
What?
You guys knew this. I didn't realize this until after I saw this, but both Class B and Class C were driven by the impressive Neil Losi.
That is
Correct.
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 Who,
We know.
So yeah.
Yeah, Class C was the Mario Kart Driving School Prelude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know where that came from. Yep. Org choice was Boner Wolf. They have a Camaro. It is hella cheaty, but they have a great attitude about it and just keep knocking down their laps and their penalty laps. One of these days they'll finish at lap 0.
At 0.
They'll get there someday. Heroic
So-
Fix.
Oh, I was going to say that one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Heroic Fix. The Folly from Mount Holly, which is a town in New Jersey, in case you didn't know it. And they have a current body style Charger. They
One
are
generation older, but that's
Is
okay.
it? Well, yeah, you know what I mean. Current.
Pretty,
I mean, like not a
pretty
7
new.
Charger.
Oh, 09.
A pretty new one.
So 9, good.
Good.
Yeah. So they are. This thing is big.
Oh,
and
so
it's got
funny.
like does it have a V8 in it? I don't even
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. Totally.
It's not fast, and they had some major problems.
I think
Couple of
it's the
transmissions.
5.3, 5.7.
Yeah.
Early.
It's a Hemi. Yeah.
Yeah. Early Hemi.
They got stuck on the rollback at one point, and the way they were trying to get it off the rollback, we were just sitting watching this for about half an hour. It was great.
I was in the
they
car
were
for
just-
this. So.
Right.
were
I was
just-
going to say,
They were just like jerking the rollback back and forth and jerking the winch strap, and the thing was just bouncing
Okay,
up and down the roll.
so the
ramp.
Because it was
ignition,
stuck in park, right?
it was stuck in park, right? The
But they thought
ignition.
this was going to work.
Hold
is
on,
that.
back up. The ignition wire caught fire. They got out of the car because there was a fire. They got
Yes.
in trouble because they got out of the car, shouldn't have gotten in the car. So there was a big fight on.
Yeah.
I saw fire. I got out. You shouldn't get out of the car, whatever. So then it gets stuck on the rollback, stuck in park. That's why they couldn't change the gear because it was stuck in park. That's when we watched
They
them
couldn't turn the
try.
ignition on, because when they did, it would catch on fire again.
Right. And so they were trying to
Couldn't put it out of
drive away. The
Yeah.
tow truck tried to drive away. And then Bruce went over and tried to give them some kind of magic. But literally it was, I think, a half an hour. And there were probably 10 of us that were watching this all happen.
That's
That was 10
interesting.
of us when we were standing there, and everybody from judging was standing there too.
Well, and I don't know when they broke, but they broke right in pit
Early
out.
and often.
No, I mean, when they broke, the one that caught fire, they broke right at pit out. So I'm like doing laps, and it's like yellow segment, another yellow segment, and then all of a sudden it's like full course yellow, and I'm like, there's not a lot broken. What's going? Why is that asshole out of the car? And I was like, that guy got out of the car. They had to go full course yellow. He was like standing on the wall,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
NASCAR wall. And then I saw the tow truck get there, and they were like pointing, like get in,
Oh, yeah,
get in. And he
they
was
were
like,
mad.
"Argh."
Oh, so you
I
saw
know-
it from the.
I was like, oh
the-
man, they're getting their ass handed to them for getting out of the
They
car.
were, yeah, we
I'm
heard
glad
about
they
that.
were okay, and the fire was small.
It's apparently what
Yeah, they
happened.
caused
get out of the
another
car.
lengthy
Yep.
yellow when I was in, actually when we pitted me for Jeff on Sunday, because they spun out into the wall in 3. So they had quite a weekend, but they just kept putting the damn thing back together and kept running. So heroic fix.
Yep.
Judge's choice was Corky Racing, which
Oh
was not
my
the usual
gosh.
team. This was a group of 6 Englishmen who flew
Brits.
across the pond to race in this race. They rented the car from its usual owner who was there kind of supporting it. And
But he
they
was like
were
one
so funny.
guy from America, 6 guys from Britain in a Miata that said R.I.P. the Queen. And they were the funniest guys ever.
See, I didn't get to hang out with them at all. I
Oh,
missed
yeah.
them.
Saturday night we hung out.
Saturday
with them.
night. Yeah, they were at the bar and they
I
were
did see them come to the bar. They
Oh,
were very excited by the bar.
funny.
They were
yeah.
like, "This alcohol is free."
And they're like, I'll drink it, okay? And, in an English accent. They were so funny. Really
Yeah,
had a
we
good
gave
time
them
with
some
them.
Gilby's gin. We said, well, that's from London. Here you go.
They were happy with it. A really good attitude.
They,
very,
they were
very
actually were
funny.
interested in the Cuddy Sark. So
Of course. Who's not?
Who's not?
we should mention the bar since we brought it up. Why don't you just go ahead and say what that was?
Okay. We want to talk
We're going
about
to talk about that in the race part. So,
Okay.
and Corky Racing also for the 4th time won the Road Mangler Cup.
The look
they're
on
not even they're not even using the tires as fast because he keeps winning.
the look on Eric's face when he peeled the name.
Oh,
he's
he
like-
was kind of pissed.
He was like, oh, Corky Racing again.
They were pretty happy, although they were kind of like, cool.
Well, they can get like street tires. They don't need
At this
to
point,
buy
he's going
race
to need to,
tires.
right?
Mhm.
Like he
Or
might as well get one for the wife's
stack 'em up.
car and get him for the tow pig and
Yeah.
oh well. The big prize, Halloween meets gasoline, went to the Hari Bull Solara Moose.
Oh no, that's not I'm sorry, that's not the whole team name.
Oh, what is
I
that?
don't think.
It's Hori Bull, and it was a Solara, and
Oh.
it's the one with the moose antlers.
Sorry,
Remember?
thank
Got
you.
it.
Yeah.
I thought
It was
I
a-
thought Moose was their team name because it.
No,
No.
Yeah. So they made a
Solara.
Toyota Solara, and it was like they were from Maine, and it was the cops from.
I don't think it was that. I think it was just they were every main stereotype. It was
They
like
were-
a tractor, and it had moose antler spoiler, like
Yes.
actually huge moose antlers.
Yes.
They wore like their Carhartt onesies all weekend with the hats, and they were just typical maniacs. So
Yeah.
Yep.
It did say
Did a pretty good job.
It did say Super Troopers on the side, I thought, in the grass.
Okay.
Whatever. Who cares? That wasn't their theme.
Another
Their
New
theme
England
was
stereotype.
rednecks from Maine.
Yeah. And they did that very well.
So
Yep. All right. That was race results. Notice
Yep.
we're not on the
Chrissy, ask me what I had for breakfast this morning.
Oh, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a black and white cookie.
A black white cookie
From your
That's
mom.
great.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Thank you for feeding me breakfast this morning, Chrissy's mom, and thank you for listening to the show. And for all the great cookies that you
There
gave
are
us all
so
weekend.
many.
The little stickers.
so
You want to talk
many
about the little
cookies.
stickers?
Oh my God, my mom is the best. She likes to make Bitmojis. So there's our texts are filled with Bitmoji. So a Bitmoji is when you make your face look like it's, you know,
cartoony
an emoji. Yeah, an emoji that
those
looks
are
just like
called-
you.
I think those are called memojis.
That's a different
Meme.
brand. Bitmoji
Oh,
is a specific
alright.
brand of.
Oh, well, I don't have one,
Close
so I
enough.
don't know what it is. But anyway, they were all her dressed up in different Halloween costumes. So she had a headless horseman. She was giving out candy in one of them. She was a witch in another one. And they were stickers that held on the kind of cookie on each box, and they were the cutest. She made so many. We're still eating them. We have a whole container of Chris has his own because that's what he does. I have Rice Krispie treats in there. Just finished some homemade chocolate. Yeah, awesome. She
So
made so
much.
many,
It
so
was so
much.
good.
It was so good. So everybody went home with many goodie bags, and they were pretty happy about it. Anyway, let's move on. Big topic talk.
I'm trying to pull up my Bitmoji account. If I have to start,
It's
somebody else do
fine.
it.
It's not a big deal.
So if you took some Chrissy's mom cookies home, get onto our social
It's
media
a great
and-
idea.
and preferably Facebook, because that's where Chrissy's mom is.
Correct.
Get onto our Facebook, show up, give us a picture of the cookie, and tell Chrissy's mom thank you, so that Chrissy can show all of the gratitude that you fine racers have for the
great.
wonderful delights that she makes.
She also made a cake and there's something else that whoopie pies I brought to the potluck. So yeah, awesome. All right.
Great.
It's my
Uh,
Bitmoji, everybody.
Yeah, we can't see it really, Jeff.
I
We
okay,
can't-
sure. I don't know if that looks like you, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You didn't miss
say
He's
anything.
got a hat on with
Podca-
coffee.
Podcast land if you didn't miss anything.
No.
Okay, let's talk about our race weekend. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Okay,
Trip there. Our trip there was really easy because we went to the Cape the night before
true. It's
and
true.
worked. I worked there all day Thursday, and Chrissy did other stuff all day Thursday. Very helpful. And then so we left the Cape at a little after 4 and just drove the 3 hours up to New Hampshire. It's great.
Yeah,
No
it
problem.
felt.
I want to
felt
know how
pretty minimal.
Jeff by himself managed to be even later, and who coyoted him in.
Nobody.
Well,
They were
Jeff can
able
tell
to
us a
take.
story.
That's true. So because my brother wasn't there, I had to drive the RV all of myself.
No trailer though, just the RV.
No
which is a
trailer,
lot
just the
better.
RV, and I left at the normal time that I always do, and I arrived at about
2
the
hours
normal,
late.
about the normal time that I always do. It's just everyone thought I would get there a lot quicker, but not gonna happen. There were no Wakeman problems. There was just hella traffic because I can't get out of Jersey any earlier than like 2 p.m. It's just, just not possible with my life. So
We didn't realize you were working that day,
yeah, I had to do some.
so
morning
that doesn't
meetings.
that
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Yeah. And, because I can't pre-pack and I have to go get the RV and I got to charge the batteries because it never starts and jump start.
Doesn't it live on a plug?
It does, but all the
Wakeman
Wakeman
Got it.
problems are once I started and got it to my house, there were no Wakeman problems.
Okay.
So I actually left about a half hour earlier than I expected, but that just put me in worse traffic outside of New York City, so
Okay.
it was fine. I got in. I didn't have to. The only weird thing is they made me leave my driver's license at the gate because they were like, well, Lemon's people aren't here, so you need to leave your driver's license. I was like, I don't want to leave my driver's license. That's my ID.
What are you gonna go buy a beer inside? You're fine.
No, I'm more like, what are you gonna do? Steal my identity? That's like my real ID. Don't lose that shit. That took me like 8 years to get in New Jersey. I had to take a lot of abuse from a lot of people at the DMV to get a real ID.
It's true. It's very difficult.
No, but anyway, it was fun. Yeah, no, like I said, no issues. Just sucky ass traffic, freaking Connecticut, and you know, yeah, just the way it is.
Yeah, Thursday night was typical unpacking and shenanigans.
Really cold, really cold. I
That
had
was the coldest night.
It was. I had like 8 jackets on. And I drank too much.
Yep. We set up the bar though. Now we'll talk about the bar. So one of our part of our theme was for the Lemon's Hell Sweet 16 was all the dusty old bottles of booze in the back of your cabinet. Those are the ones you're drinking when you're 16, so no one notices. And so we got all the ones that we had brought from the Cape, and plenty of other people brought additions. And so then we started the weekend by drawing a Sharpie line at the current level of all of them, so you know how much got drank over the weekend, because you got to track that stuff. Set the
because that's also what you did when you were 16. You had to make sure that
probably, or at least
you put
have
the
an idea.
tap water and the vodka bottle back up to the line.
Well, that's what a lot of people kept saying. They kept saying, "Yeah, but how much water is in it?" I'm like, no.
None of them were actually syrupy, but some of them didn't.
It was just
taste
good to track.
Some of them were syrupy. Let me tell you.
Creme de menthe is a little syrupy.
I didn't ever had
That's
any.
terrible.
So then the bar was a 3-tier with plexi on top with full of multicolor LED changing lights inside, and basically all the random stickers I had around the outside. So that lit up very nice. So that looked great going all weekend.
It was awesome. You did a great job on it. Really good.
Thanks.
I'm trying to pull up a picture here, but I can't really find one.
Don't worry about it. We'll edit it in, because I edited
the additions
it
of some of the things like
last week's episode.
Like whoever brought the Cuddy Sark, that was a great one, for example. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Friday. It was a beautiful day. All the weather all weekend. Beautiful.
Totally. Yeah. It's like cloudless sky with sun, cold at night. Really pretty pleasant during the day. Kind of got like kind of warmish.
Warm sun.
Yeah.
Friday we just hung out, helped other people a little bit, tech the cars.
Betty was struggling.
Betty was struggling. So but they solved those problems. Obviously, they had a problem with the belt kind of hopping.
Yeah, they solved some problems.
Some voltage stuff, and the oil pressure sender leaked a lot. But hey, they solved everything well enough. So they were fine. Cressida did a few laps just to scuff some tires in and get going. Fine, no problem. We didn't bother testing the 3 because we all know the track, and Chrissy had driven the car to work recently and was fine. So send it.
We did have to do some work on the 3. You sheared a lug off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, midday I was like, I'm just gonna torque these wheels because I didn't remember that I torqued them. So I started to torque the wheels. Oh, and there's Jeff showing the bar. Yep, looks great.
Excellent stuff. Here,
lovely products in there. We got some Doers, creme de menthe, Midori. There's some sweet vermouth, Sambuca. Everyone said like either you love or hate Sambuca.
I tried the Sambuca.
And you like almost.
Grant's Scotch.
We did some limoncello taste testing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We probably lost our monetization by what's on the white label down there.
That's fine. Doers, Bacardi, Canadian Club, Seagram's 7. Yeah.
How come every Crown Royal bottle only has like 1.5 inches in it?
I don't know, but that actually went over the weekend. That was gone.
Somebody drank it, huh?
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
All right. Torquing the wheels.
Yeah, torquing the wheels. Okay, it's a good thing to do. Torque the wheels, check tire pressures. Okay. So the right front wheel, I'm torquing it's the third lug nut I get to, and it just torque wrench just goes right down. So, what the hell?
Did you over torque or was it?
No, I had my nice snap on torque wrench. It hadn't even hit 90 yet. It just came right off.
Weird.
This is the right front wheel, which on a track with mostly left-hand turns, gets some use, especially coming into turn 1 where you basically stand the car on the right front wheel all the way through that corner. So ended up doing, this is when preparation makes things easier. I had a whole spare loaded knuckle ready to go. So we just swapped knuckles. It took about 20 minutes and we're good to go.
A lot of banging.
Yeah. There's some banging involved.
And I know in the interest of time compression, we took this out of there, but we did have a viewer on the photo ask what the orange stuff on the hub was.
That's in the, you took that out.
I didn't. It disappeared. I think somebody accidentally pasted over it.
I didn't take that either. Huh. Anyway, it was some rust, but that was actually a brand new hub. That was just from the brake rotor. That's the cast iron brake rotor.
Michael K called it the essence of Detroit.
Excellent.
We had a bunch of listener feedback. We didn't
Yeah,
get to
where
any
did it
of
all go?
Yeah, I don't know
Don't
where
worry
it
about
went.
Just keep going.
Whoever posted
Somebody-
in the race report, pasted over it.
Probably paste it over it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I just typed
We'll
it
hit
in.
you next time.
We didn't even
Yeah,
paste
well.
it.
Anybody who
Anyway.
had listener feedback, thank you. We'll cover that later.
Yep.
So what else? Let's see. Yeah, so swap that in. Fine. I kept the old one around just in case. Didn't need it, so I'll swap some new ARP studs onto that, which replace the standard kind of studs that were in it that broke.
Themes.
Aside from that, we were good. Themes, Chrissy, talk about themes.
Yeah, sure. So we didn't have a full out theme this time. It was an original idea, original air quotes, until somebody did it at the last race. It was just one team. But basically I said, let's everybody get blow up costumes because that would be hilarious. So our team pretty much showed up. Everybody got some blow up costumes. We wore them. We did a really good, thorough thought of which costumes were better than others within our team, because some people couldn't walk. Some people, Jeff is showing the picture that we took. So Jeff is the upside down clown.
Now, don't be fooled. That was a regular clown, and Jeff just walked on his hands.
That's right.
All
No.
weekend.
Not at all. Not
There's
even
a
a
little
little bit.
window in his butthole, so I could look out. So
And so he thought he was hilarious. He went to all the meetings and stood with his costume on all the time. It was great. Chris, what are you doing?
I am riding a rooster.
oh,
It's a
cleaning it
large-
up, are you?
It's a proud rooster,
It's a big red.
red and
Rooster?
yellow, and
Yeah.
it's proud.
I was a happy inflatable arm guy, and I was so happy. You can't have a bad day in this costume because it made me laugh. I just giggled the whole time. I actually wore it to my parents' house for Halloween as well. And I thought I was going to scare my now almost 3-year-old nephew to death. And he thought it was hilarious. So I just can't laugh enough in this costume.
The little kids liked my clown outfit too. I had to
They loved it.
They were like, Mr. Clown, Mr. Clown. Ah, hey, Clown, hey, Clown. I had to like wave with my foot. It was really.
So Jeff couldn't. He was fogging up because he's breathing within his own. He went greenhouse.
It's by his
basically
butt
a
because it's a clear thing by his butt. It's gonna
Right.
fog up.
But he has no other way to like get air
Yeah,
in.
like Chris's face is in the air.
Yeah.
Chrissy's face is in the air.
Yes.
We
But
talk about
the other
Steve and
three are
Dave.
not.
We haven't even
Yes,
mentioned them.
correct.
Yet. Go
No,
ahead.
I know. I was just saying these are the good and the bad of all the things.
Yep.
So Dave is a giraffe. It was hilarious. He did a great job. The problem is that his legs were about
9 inches.
I was going to say 6, but 9 is generous. So he couldn't walk other than
He had to
a
like
tiny baby steps everywhere.
that's what
So
it
it
sounded
was
like.
so
Yeah.
funny.
And as he did, his kind of floppy head flopped around.
And then he could talk out the hole. No, he couldn't.
No, it was just
The
like
one-
me.
Not
You
really.
kind of had to like yell in the green.
Right. So the one
Yep.
time he was talking to Jeremy, because we had to get other people to drive our cars through tech because we were in blow up costumes. So Jeremy had from Monkey House had driven the Cressida. And one time Dave was trying to talk to Jeremy in the car, leans his head towards the car, and the giraffe head is kissing or biting or something the roof of the Cressida. So it was very funny.
It's pretty funny.
And then Steve was a robot and he couldn't breathe at all. So he kept having to take his costume off.
And
Yeah,
not
yeah.
pictured here is Bruce was an amazing horse, and he wore the blow up riding a horse costume while in his jazzy, because that's how he got around most of the weekend with his
Yeah.
broken ankle.
It
Yep.
kind of looked like he was having sex with it.
It did.
It was
Yeah.
like,
And
it was like
Darren was busy, so he didn't get into his costume until Sunday, and he was a pickle or a cactus, one or the other. It was
Yep.
hilarious.
oh, it was definitely a pickle.
And
There-
Greg
there's
was
yeah,
pouting.
but
an appropriate horse costume for those of you watching on YouTube. It's
Yep.
And Tally.
That horse looks pretty amazing.
yeah.
we played that too. So there's that. So anyway, Friday
Yeah,
was a fun
it was
day.
fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Saturday.
Let's talk about Saturday.
So I have to say, because I want to bring this up first, Chrissy was opening, And for the driver's meeting, I, of course, put on the clown suit and made all kinds of inappropriate clown references while the little girl next to me was like, Mr. Clown, Mr. Clown, wave to me, wave to me. So I would Rude would say something like, you got to pay attention to the yellow flags. And I would go, yeah, you freaking clowns, pay attention to the flags.
What's your favorite joke everywhere? You told everybody about don't be a clown, or we're such a group of clowns, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and when you would walk at normal speed, your head would your whole body would bob back and forth. It was pretty hilarious.
So what you might not know, because you were in the car, is
correct.
When the judges are starting the race. Mental, you've been a judge. How busy is it to start a race?
The actual starting, or
lining everybody up and checking everybody's belts.
It's very busy, but I'm ruining your joke. In recent years, Eric and Kim and Dale have broken it down to its most essential task. They talk about it the Friday night before. Everyone has a job to do, and then they overlap a lot, because the worst thing ever is to get someone on the track in an unsafe condition. So you're hustling, but it's not crazy.
Well, I stood next to Eric while he's trying to do his job, and every time there would not be a car directly in front of him while he was doing something, I'd lean in and do a terrible clown joke. Metal, you ready for my favorite? What do you do when you're attacked by a mob of clowns? Go for the juggler.
We heard all these during the red flag on,
Now, here's the thing: is I'm sure Eric audibly rolled his eyes.
He absolutely did.
But Eric's a dad.
Yeah.
And he
absolutely told several of them
later.
I think the one he did was he went home and he told his current wife. He said, "Did I ever tell you that my first wife was married to a professional clown?" I had some really big shoes to fill. You better stop me. I do this all night.
Okay,
great
so
audio. Silence from the rest of us.
Because because we heard them before.
How was your first shift?
I
You went out
started
first in the car. How was
I
that
did. I haven't started in a little while, so pressure was on. Knife fight through traffic. There was 119 cars, I think, started
like that,
in theory. I'm not sure that they all actually started, but there was a lot of cars on track. But I like this track. We were very, very familiar with the track. Car was awesome. Had a really good time. It was kind of chilly, but it was really the right temperature with a SFI undershirt plus the 2-layer suit that we have. And yeah, so it was just right. Temperature was good. Did 2+ hours. Didn't run out of gas. Didn't have any contact, was in the car when there was the red flag, the rollover that happened on Saturday morning. And yeah, it was great. I had a good time. Liked seeing people. Didn't mess up. Was pretty fast. Yeah, we were within your best, but you had the best lap over the whole weekend, and you were only, I think, a second or two faster than we were.
All of our best laps were within 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
for the whole weekend. That's pretty great. Well, we all know that track.
Yeah.
We all know that car.
Yep.
And that car is very easy to drive to its limit, basically. So.
Yep. Yeah. So it was great. And since spoiler alert, I get in on Sunday the next time, the track was very different because it was much more slippy than the first time I get in. So that was made for an exciting trip, but had a good time.
Jeff, how was your time?
So for those of you who aren't familiar with our team, we have one adage. Mental, what is our adage when we get in the car? Don't black flag.
Yeah. No black flags.
Yes, we got a black flag.
Don't step on your junk.
I did.
All of these are all synonymous with what just happened.
I went out and I had a totally zero drama free shift. And then coming down the hill, I got pushed, shoved. I got pit maneuvered like you were being pit maneuvered by someone who cared about you.
So someone didn't listen to our in-depth and very effective and somewhat spooky track walk episode, which I'll link right here.
Yeah.
And we're going too fast coming into the turtle. Or you're saying down the hill?
It was actually past the turtle. It was closer to the next turn. I'm trying to remember what that is. Where it
Oh,
kinda, like,
where
gets
it goes
skinnier.
very wide
Is that
and very narrow. And
9?
Chris clearly laid out that it is very wide and then suddenly gets very narrow.
Turtle is 8. The
Yep.
next is 9, right? No, 9 and 10.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
whatever
no,
that is.
it's not 9 is the turtle. I think 10 is the next one.
Yeah.
11, 12 is the.
So yeah, it was
chicane.
between 9 and 10 that I got
Yep.
got shoved. And it was right the flag station is right there. He shoved me hard enough, like we both like almost came to a stop. So I went in the pits. We didn't have radios, so I couldn't call in.
Well, we did have radios, but they didn't work
They didn't work at
consistently.
the moment.
Yours,
For
yeah.
all 3
Yeah.
cars did not have consistent radios all weekend.
So I came in.
That's what happens
and-
when Jim's not around.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's the problem. I'm gonna blame him. All right, it's my fault anyway. I was in charge of the radios. So yeah, my like plug had not plugged in right, so that was the problem. But anyway, either way, they didn't have us on the book. I screwed up. I should have come in. I had to wear the
Correct.
dong on my head. Totally my fault.
And we wasted more time when you came in because Chris was like, well, we're out of it. So yeah, let's try to fix the radio. Shame. And
Yeah.
all the judges were like, he
You're
he
not
can
even
go.
on the list. Go.
You're go. So we screwed ourselves there.
I am going to put a pause in this, and I apologize for hijacking this episode. And I want to know what you, listener, think as well. We've had this discussion because we used to be very aggressive about if we even think we screwed something up, we were trying to beat that into the penalty box. And then there is some discussion among some of the more competitive teams that if you're jiving for position, you take the gamble and maybe you get away with it.
Yep.
I haven't been with a competitive, I haven't raced with the 3-pedal in a competitive situation since Thompson.
That was the last time we were really competitive. So we haven't tried since then. I think usually it depends on how bad it is. If it was really bad and blatant and obvious and huge, then I'd say, okay, just get it over with on your terms. If not, then I think you just keep an eye out. Let's see.
Okay. Chrissy?
Oh, what do I think we should have done? Should happen?
I think we're just moving on. I'll
Oh,
just say
sorry, yeah.
this to wrap it up. Next time will stay out. Period.
Okay.
I came in
'cause-
late teens, 18, 19, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've all been judges.
Yep.
And I'm just, I know what my attitude is on one side of the desk versus my attitude on the other side of the desk. And
Absolutely.
when I have to flag a car, I can look at the race timer. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to make us tell them.
Well, sometimes, and that's one of those things where I would be watching like a hawk every black flag station to make sure I'll come in the hot second that I see
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Hot
don't make them
second.
flag it twice.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, yeah.
I will
Yep.
be waiting for it.
Yeah.
I'll go around once to see it. Nope. Don't see it yet. Do I see them even trying to find some numbers? Maybe it's for me, but
Yep.
Absolutely.
okay.
Because you do get missed sometimes, which makes up for the times where you get a kind of a questionable flag. I think you get
Right.
missed more than you get questionable ones. So
Yep.
Well,
karma.
tell us
Anyway,
tell us what you think, listener. Sorry, didn't mean to derail that one.
No,
No,
that's
that's
okay.
not derailing at
Good.
all. So anyway, after I came out, Chris went in.
I went in and I did an hour and 45 minutes and it was completely uneventful. I made sure that this race, I really concentrated on my safety bubble because especially when the first day, I'm like, we're not really racing for anything. We're just going to have fun. Let's see how we do. And so there's plenty of times where I've found that another driver had a different definition of an appropriate safety bubble than I did.
Yes.
And so I would just, okay, fine. Ease off a little bit,
Don't stick your nose in where you don't need to.
Let everything sort itself out.
Yeah.
I'll get this later. Okay. And that kept us very much drama free for the weekend for the most part, just by having that kind of attitude. My safety bubble got a little smaller on Sunday, but not by much
Well,
because we were
there's
in contention at that point.
so many places on the track that it's pretty darn close. So you can go 3-4 wide even on the straight, but once you narrow on either side of the straights, you're very close. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I think that's why maybe New Hampshire is so aggro because it's so. I think people push harder because there's more space And even though there's a lot of cars,
There's more space and then there's not. And then there's space and then
Mhm.
there's
Yep,
space,
yep.
and then there's not.
Exactly.
That's it. Where Thompson is like, it's pretty much the same all the way around.
It's the
Except
same
for like
width all
2
around. Yeah, it
spots,
goes a
right?
little bit, but yeah.
Right. Where and like NJMP, it's the same size, the
Yeah.
whole track, basically. Yeah, but this, it gets really wide, gets single file, basically. And wide and single file.
So anyway,
there were some cars that, especially some people that were doing okay, but haven't been doing this a really long time, that were, you're on them for a couple laps and they won't give you an inch, not an inch. Not looking at you at all, number 7 white Firebird.
And I'm totally
And then
not going to call out.
You finally get them caught in traffic and you get by them and you're just gone.
I'm not going to call out 681, the red E30 with the Grinch on top that hit me either, even though those jerks were jerks all weekend and didn't come say sorry at all.
Yep.
But
anyway,
Jeff,
so at
I
the end of the day,
closed.
Jeff got back in, closed up,
drama
finished the
free
day
second
strong.
half.
Yeah. We had good pit stops, like good clean pit stops all weekend. We were pretty quick about the whole thing. It was all 3 of us every time. I do quite like the 3 p.m. Feather flag that we have for signaling pits and also for stopping the car in the right place so that we can get the fuel jugs to the right place very easily. Yeah.
Good.
We were, I think, 18th at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think maybe I came in the first time in
17th,
like
16th, something like that.
22nd. And I think we ended the day in the high teens.
I think we were what, 4th in class. We were 4th in class at the time when we ended. Right.
17th overall.
That's important.
And we were
on
right
the
next
same
to the
lap.
Cressida. On the Cressida, exactly.
Yeah. But a couple
That'll
laps
be
behind
that's
the
called
B winner.
foreshadowing, people. That'll be important later.
Right.
Okay. Saturday night potluck. It was very good.
It was very good. Potluck
I didn't say
lovers.
great, I said very good.
Potluck lovers. There was a lot of good food. There was no potato salad. The people that brought food, they were awesome. Thank you for bringing them. We were a little low on food. So if you only brought one small thing, maybe consider bringing more.
Or I saw a lot of people in line who didn't bring anything.
I agree. And we can only have a potluck, and it's only successful if everybody brings something. So please bring something, especially if you were at the end of the
That's why it's a
line. Then
potluck, not a free dinner.
you ended, and it is still a free dinner, but you still need to, if you bring one thing, we ended up our team brought a lot of food. So we would have been down a lot of food if we had not brought what we did. So thank you to people that brought it.
Meats is always amazing.
So good.
Brings so much.
There was I know, there's a lot of good food. The clam chowder, people ended up just taking some of the different items, like the clam chowder, and then there was a chili and a curry with rice. Curry soup with rice.
I think that was Egan's.
It was Egan's. Yeah. So some people brought some really interesting things, and sometimes that was all people had. So it was kind of nice. People got the normal traditional things on a plate. And then when there was no other actual food, people just took a bowl of soup, because I think that's what Darren said. That's all he had all night. So, but he said everything was delicious. Awesome.
Alex was on the bar. We went through a fair amount of the dusty booze.
Bottles.
Yeah.
And the costume contest was there, and that Floodstang was running, and that was fine.
Yes.
We won some Slim Jims.
We won what is it? 10
6 feet of meat.
6 feet of meat.
Yeah.
Oh, also, go ahead. There was a wedding.
Oh yeah.
Wedding. That's right.
We didn't talk about the wedding.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the wedding, Jeff?
Steve and Jen got married again for the
married.
first anniversary.
Yep.
The
second pair of teammates that I married, but this one was fake.
Yep. Incredible bridal party. Dale cleans up really well wearing a tux jacket.
He wore like a tail.
Like he looks like a fine gentleman.
Yeah. It was funny.
He had that him and his wife, they posted that on his Facebook. Yeah. There is nothing that Dale can't class up.
So let me just give a quick shout out to the Floodstang gang. I thought they had a good time. I thought they had a good theme. They actually kind of lived it a little. They went around like plague doctors and handed out certificates, invites the night before.
Yeah. They like walked up to parties. They didn't talk, and then they just hand them like ominously handed
creepy,
people.
Yeah,
it was great.
Fun, in big robes.
Yeah.
I'll give some subjective feedback. Even at night, there are sometimes some kids have some kid appropriate prize, because they sure as heck did not want to give the 10-year-old girl even though she was the only one in a scary costume. Whatever was in the scary bag.
There was wine and some other stuff.
Depends.
Yeah.
They
Anyway.
thought they were being funny though, so they were.
No, they were funny. Should have had a backup plan. You
sure.
guys rock.
No.
Flood Stag, you drive like crap, but I like you.
They were
Okay.
they were okay.
They've been improving.
They have been very
Yeah.
improving.
Yep.
They have been
They s-
improving.
I
Good.
think they have adapted to the tribe that is lemons.
Yep.
Roller Girl, the guy who makes the videos, that was fun at
She-
Thompson.
I was gonna say they weren't
I
there.
didn't see either
were
one of them
they?
there.
Oh, at Thompson. That's what I said.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He
Yeah.
just needs
no.
to slow down his camera movements a little bit. I
He
get
does,
feel
he
watching
does,
it.
that's
It's
all
too
right.
fast.
It's a little
All
Michael
right,
Manish.
So then Sunday we go out. Jeff starts.
I
How was it,
start.
Jeff?
Chris hassles me for 30 minutes to get in the car before the race.
And then
He's the
Jeff's like, "No,
hassler.
we don't need to go. They're right there." No, Jeff, they're on the grid.
And
It
you
didn't
were
matter. It was
so
fine.
adamant. It
Well,
was
I was
fine,
getting
but
yelled
just-
at for 20 minutes. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about that. So I had 0 issues. I was out there. I had my safety bubble a little bigger because of the black flag. And all of a
We
sudden,
got a talking to that morning too. We had a
Yeah, whoa,
Sunday
yeah.
driver
Oh, we had a
meeting.
second
had a
drivers
serious
meeting.
talking to.
Oh, it's the
Eric said,
worst.
if you get contact, you are parked.
Correct. An hour.
I don't
Parked
care
an
how
hour.
many. I
Parked
don't
for an
care
hour.
how many you've got or what you've done all weekend. If you have contact, you will be parked
For an hour.
for an hour. He said that, but then I don't think he did everybody for an hour.
Sure.
So anyway, so I increased my safety bubble. I went out there. I was shaking and baking, and everything was going great. I had my bubble out, and everything was great. And all of a sudden, the car stopped handling. It started pushing everywhere. Understeer. I almost went straight at the hill turn, the turn that goes up. That's
3.
5? 3. Thank you.
3.
3. Right in the part where it goes straight up, I almost went right into the gravel. And then I went to the top and it understeered again. And then I went into the bowl and understeered again. And I was like, the wheels feel like they're wobbling and falling off. So I get on the radio and I say, Mazda 3 to base, we got some problems. Neil Losi in the Cressida, who can't hear because he doesn't have his headphones, but he can talk, gets on the radio and goes, I don't know. You got to tell the judges, man, this entire track is covered in oil. And I go, oh, that's what's happening.
Oh.
That would cause you to understeer a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it
I
did.
don't have the same suspension level as you three guys, but I do know that if you coat a track in oil, you usually end up with some understeer.
Get some slippy.
Yeah. Chris has always said, every time I get off the track, he says, Jeff, how was the car? And I go, it's great. And then he gets in and he said, you didn't notice that the tie rod was completely
Oh,
unconnected?
we'll get there.
I said, nope.
Yeah,
Felt-
that one time I got out home in the Honda and the ball joint was loose in the trailing arm, like wasn't even there. I could just go click, 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 click. Really?
He said, didn't it handle weird? I said, yeah, it wasn't as good as usual, but I was fine. So if I was ready to pull it in, imagine what it was like out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I never,
bad.
and of course, nobody wanted the contact. Nobody wanted the yellow flags. But if you couldn't stay on the track, everybody was concerned. So.
Everybody was spinning everywhere. Neil and I cranked it back to like 5 because it was worse than even like a wet track. Not because the traction was worse, but a wet track was wet everywhere. An oily track is only oily in the spots where the guy left the oil. It was all the way around the track.
Usually the racing line.
But it wasn't always on the racing line. It was always where you wanted to be. But do we even know who did it?
It was a
No, but they-
Camaro. That's all I know.
But they didn't close the track down,
Nope.
so it
Nope,
was.
they just kept going. They
Yeah.
put all the speedy dry down.
I saw so,
Whole pallet.
but they didn't put it on the track.
They didn't.
They didn't flag.
Not at this time, because I ran
Eventually they
over. I was
yeah.
on the radio, and you guys, both of you, came on. And you were like, "This is a mess," and I was just standing close to judging. So I went over and was like, "I'm not sure if you're going to do anything about it, but just so you know, it's not good out there."
And I came in. Neil got a little braver before I did. So he started going because I was following him for like that hour. And then he started going. So then I started going and I did pretty well
Yep.
at the end.
We all did fine.
Yeah.
And then I got in the car for shift 1 of this day, and it was completely uneventful.
Mm-hmm.
Brought the car. and
Still a little oil, right? You had a little bit of
No,
greasiness?
not really. It was mostly
Not really?
gone by
Okay.
then. Yeah, but by the time I found it mostly in 3, like before the hill, like I'd be understeering through the corner, hit the hill,
That's where it
catch,
was.
go. Right.
That must have been where he did it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I did it most of the track. You could see it.
Yeah.
Then drove the rest of the time, made sure my safety bubble was decent, just to be careful, pushed through some stuff. And I got to the point where I was looking at the scoring tower as I was driving around trying to see where I was. And eventually found I was at 9th. I was like, oh, hey, look at that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
doing well.
Finished up my shift when I was running low on gas, and we had a spot where it was a yellow. It was a local yellow, but it was causing half the track to be very, very slow. So it was a perfect time. They were ready.
And we didn't really time it exactly. Yeah. We weren't really. I mean, we were just having to be ready. It was kind of coinciding.
We were there. We were in the window. Anyway. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep,
Right.
Did the pit stop then? Got Chrissy out. Chrissy did an hour and a half.
I did. Yeah. It was just, like I said, it was, by then it was very different than when you start the day on Saturday. It was very slippery and, just plenty of aggro. It was plenty of people around wanting to drive very fast. A couple of them, you just let them by. But for the most part, we knew we were doing well enough, kind of by now, especially bitching that Jeff, if we hadn't messed up on the flag the day before, we're now getting closer to a time when we're getting closer. So the people in that were winning Class B was Boston Miners. They were not doing well, probably about this point. They were dropping and dropping and dropping, and then they continued.
For most of the weekend, B was out of our reach because the Boston Winers in their, I think, 4-cylinder E30.
It's the Haterade car.
4th or 3rd. Yeah.
But by the time, so Chrissy, finish up yours and I'll tell the story for how it all went.
Yeah. So my stint was uninteresting. Pretty good. Except for at some point in my stint, about closer to the end, probably about 45 minutes, maybe, halfway through, I noticed that it's pretty loud. And sometimes I have pretty good headphones. And I thought that my headphone maybe had started falling out of my ear. So I started like really feeling like it was very loud and just kind of thought it was odd, but whatever, just keep driving. I did feel like it was a tiny bit. I felt like it was down on a little bit of power. Not a whole lot, but it was kind of when I stepped on the gas, it wasn't as quick as I planned.
That's a little more foreshadowing, people.
I know. Yep. Okay, so I got out.
So about 2:45, there was a local yellow. So I'm
going to say, I looked Chris in the eye and I said, this is kind of within reach.
Send it.
We need to go for it. We need to leave Chrissy in and give you as much fuel as possible. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to put on your Superman cape and try and win this thing. Because if they break...
We didn't say this. You didn't say this to me.
No, I said it to Chris.
Right. And I was saying, get Chris in the car now, because then he could put a Superman cape on earlier and then he could have pushed longer.
This was the discussion we were having going into the last.
We waited for a local yellow at least, because you hadn't had any.
I had not even a local yellow. I had maybe 1 or 2 very, very short local yellows.
So we got a yellow and we put 10 gallons in, strap me in, and we go. I start the car up and I say, that's loud. Something's wrong. Start driving. Yep, it's really loud. Okay. Continue to drive. All right, it's loud and has a part throttle miss that it didn't have before when I drove it earlier in the day. Okay, this is not good. I'm just going to keep going, see how it does.
That's getting closer to the end. I didn't give it to you like that. It didn't have the part throttle miss.
Well, that's pretty much how it started when I got it. So anyway, it still was about the same speed. If anything, maybe just a little tiny bit slower, but not too much. So and on under full throttle was pretty much okay. So I just sent it. And so at this point, though, there were 4 cars that are kind of contending for B. The Boston Winers Haterade E30 had its left front wheel had about 10 degrees of camber. They were
like
not
most of the
they
weekend.
Were driving.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was worse at that point. Like, it had a lot of camber.
Yeah.
They came off the track.
Yeah.
Yep. The yellow Aspen of BRF was doing very well and is pretty quick and properly driven, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a turbo Ecotech in that Aspen.
It is. Yep.
Is it that? And Chrissy, you know that team, right?
I do. That's my coworker. Yes, I do. So that made it for
nice crew.
But it made for even more of an interesting time because we were now actually battling with each other. Yeah. So gets more interesting.
So as I'm out there, I get past. I'm behind
we also
the
have to
Aspen
mention who else was on the same lap.
Crescent. I already said
the Crescent. Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
You missed that. Yes. I get the Aspen and I are going for a long time with it. Like I'll catch up and then traffic and catch up and then traffic, keep going, repeat. But we get past Haterade, no problem. Eventually though, I get past, I'm near the Aspen and I come through turn 1, I'm on the outside and I see that their right front tire is looking a little low, like it's folding over a bit. And I say, this is when I'd already gotten past Haterade now. I said, radioed in, all right, we might have a chance at this. Their tire's going down.
Oh, Jeff and I start freaking out.
They were about 2 laps ahead of us.
2 laps
They
ahead.
were 2 laps
And
ahead.
Haterade was behind us, but on the same lap or a lap back or something.
And
So really
But they were losing.
and the
behind us on
Cressida
the same
was
lap.
set behind us on the same lap. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is about 20 minutes till the end of the checker.
Yeah.
Till the end. I bet it's
Maybe,
about 20
maybe
minutes.
30. At
Yeah,
most.
30,
Or 30.
45, yeah.
Mhm.
No more than 30. So then I keep going. I'm pushing. I'm doing what I can, and things are going okay. But the mid throttle stumble is getting a little worse. All right, I'm just gonna keep sending it. Like it's lasted this long. Keep sending it. Eventually, I come around the corner onto the straight. Mental is very familiar with this corner to find not a whole rolling wheel, but a rolling tire carcass with no wheel, just the tire carcass rolling out across the track at the last corner, turn 13. So fortunately, I saw it early enough that I was able to dodge said tire carcass, which was great, and keep going. And at this point, I'm not really sure where I am. I know I've gotten past the Aspen and past Haterade.
And the Aspen is now out because it doesn't have a tire. Because you did.
I saw it was a tire.
I thought you
I
identified.
called you and said, "You're leading." The Aspen came out.
Oh, right.
Cressida's
They rolled in
behind
on a
you.
wheel.
Yeah. Cressida's behind you about 90 seconds. Just don't let Steve pass you. And we got this.
Yeah. So I kept pushing. And then the car
VRF
started breaking up.
Back out. They were one lap
both of
behind
them,
us.
yep.
Right.
They were 2 laps behind, or a lap behind us.
Whatever it is, yeah.
So I keep pushing, and then as I'm coming up the hill, the car goes with full throttle. The car goes, and then it goes, and then the next lap it does that up the hill a bit and out of the bowl, and then the next lap it does it so badly coming up. It actually does it on the way out of into turn 9 and 10. It did it again.
Had you you had told us?
Yeah, I had told you, but then I said it's getting really bad, and so eventually I come up the hill at 3. And it's not making it, and I'm way on the inside, and like people are coming around me really fast, and they'd been out there with me for an hour and a half and expecting the car to be going very quickly, and I barely made it up the hill. So I said I'm dangerous, I can't do it, the car's not going to make it. So I limped it around the rest of the corner and came in with
9 minutes.
Like
Yep.
eight, 9 minutes
overall.
left.
Yep.
8th overall with 9 minutes left, leading Class B.
Class B.
Parked the car.
And by now I'm basically crying. Oh, so much.
But as I come in, the car will barely idle on its own, and it's super loud. I think so. Post-mortem now, the exhaust flex piece, which is one of those typical, slinky looking, the
flexi deals,
stainless mesh flexi deals. It's now the inner part of that, whatever those look like, and the inside is all gone. It is not far from some fuel lines, and even though there is a heat shield between them and an air gap, I think the amount of heat that was coming off of that thing near those, I think we basically baked the fuel system to the point where it just wasn't pumping right. That's what it felt like. I'd get on the gas, when I'd get on the gas, it would and then all of a sudden it would just pop back. So I think we overheated the fuel system because of the exhaust leak. Yeah,
bubbling the gas, boiling the gas. Same thing that happened to Betty when it had the exhaust leak.
TR, you say it every time.
TR.
It was
TR. Sorry,
TR.
Can't even remember.
Yeah. So that was the tragedy of what happened to the Mazda. Even though we didn't even talk about its new theme this race, the Mazda had an incredible theme that popped on track. Imagine a Martini Racing Lancia Delta Integrale, but imagine Midori Racing instead of Martini Racing. So it's green
Bright
and
green,
black and gold.
Oh, Chris
over
did
the
such
white.
a good job. Don't look
great.
at it close, but on
Yeah.
track looks fantastic. Really good job.
Yeah.
So we had to park the Midori Mazda with 9
I
minutes
still
left.
think we had a great weekend because, as
We
we
did.
know, the Cressida ended up winning. So
we were 12th overall even with the 9 minutes off track.
Which isn't bad. I didn't realize, I didn't even care where we were on track because
And this is
we
the first
did make
time
it.
we have actually really kind of tried with the Mazda, because with the driver crew we had, we said, well, this will probably go pretty well. Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
And so I think we proved it's got to be in it at some point.
Absolutely. There's the majority. I didn't realize that the amber turning signals look gold, and they're right in the stripes.
That's perfect.
That's fantastic.
Yep, looks good.
Looks amazing.
The amber lamps in the turn signal.
Yeah. That's
That car
awesome.
looks good on track.
Yep, it does.
So yeah, I agree. Great weekend. Like I had a lot of fun.
Congratulations. Let's talk
totally.
about the Cressida, because we didn't want to say it. They begged and begged and begged to be back in B because they have no chance of winning A, which is a lie because they were only a moment behind us when we won the overall race. So they got B plus 6. Yeah.
Because it had been 6 years since they won B before. That was what Dave's thing was. He's like, we haven't really done anything to the car. It's been 6 years. Everyone's getting faster. The car would fit nicely in B. And as soon as the race is over, Dave says to Eric, so we screwed ourselves. So he's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You're never going to be in B ever again.
Yeah,
Six was the right number, wasn't it?
Stop
Yeah.
finishing top 10.
Yeah, right.
Well, and I was secretly hopeful to if somebody had to win, if it was the Aspen that won, then at least then they'd be an A and they wouldn't be our problem anymore. But now we have to start all over again and play the game back in April.
They're fast.
They are fast.
Yeah.
It
It's
walks
a quick
away
car.
from us.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. They're
Well,
fast in the corners
last time
too.
It was like 2 or 3 seconds faster than ours.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it
shoot.
has a lot of tire and
Yeah.
a lot of power.
And they
probably
drift it.
similar weight. It's probably similar weight to what we have.
And they drift it. They've got
do.
it's very well
It's well
driven. Yeah.
Okay.
Shoot. What's your
That's
worst
it.
drive bomb of the weekend?
Okay, so this is actually a ride home story. I know we weren't doing ride home stories, but as soon as I left the track, before I was even to, what's the highway there? 303, 393? The first highway you get
Well,
on?
The very first one?
Yeah. Like you're
Oh.
on the road that exits the track.
It's 106. See, they
106.
393 or something like that.
I was
a
on
little bit.
106, and there was a drift event at the same time that was kind of breaking up as the same time we were. So the vehicle in front of me was a flatbed with 2 different drift cars on it, and then my ginormous RV, and we were kind of like putzing along in the traffic that happens when everybody leaves the race at the same time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's an explosion near my left ear. I thought somebody had hit the RV, and one of the people leaving, I'm going to assume it was the drift event, is flying across the dotted line and is flying down the left of us and is only feet from the side of the RV. Like they're not in the other lane because there's so much traffic. He was trying to pass like 20 cars at the same time.
On the shoulder or in the middle of the road?
Left side. So he was in the oncoming traffic lane.
Okay.
And I think he blew a tire because there was like a gunshot loud pop. And then he nearly took the front bumper off the RV. He caught it, went back into the other lane, cut in front of the car in front of me that was towing the flatbed, and then immediately turned off onto a side road.
Wow.
And I was like, that dude, that was the closest I've came to an accident all weekend, and I got hit.
And you were on a racetrack with 18 other cars.
I was pissed. Wow. I actually pulled over and checked to see if he hit me.
Wow. Oh, we didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, I was saving it for the podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a shame.
It was a shame. He didn't hit me. The only thing I could think of is that he blew a tire because he immediately tucked in and turned and kept going, but there was definitely something wrong with his car. He blew the exhaust manifold welds or something. I don't know.
Huh.
Danger to manifold.
Danger to manifold. Yep, that's what you had.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad that you were okay because that is a scary thing. Yeah. What a mess.
What a mess.
All right.
Overall, great weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always.
Let's
It's always
again.
a great time.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It was nice racing with you guys. We haven't had such a race like that in a long time.
Yeah.
It was fun.
The weather was fantastic.
Yeah.
Bright and sunny.
It was awesome.
It was
Oh, I
warm
mean,
en-
except it was
warm
cold at
enough
night.
that I didn't have to like be freezing. Like I could be in the hot tub and get out and not like, I'd be like 40% party and
I mean, it was
50% cold.
pretty darn cold at
It
night.
was cold Thursday night. After that, it wasn't so bad. And
Mhm.
it wasn't so bad, but it also was cool enough that I could like wear my long underwear and not sweat and not worry
Right.
about a cool
Yep.
suit.
No cool
so-
shirt. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it got warm enough in the day that it could have, but didn't need it.
Overall, great weekend.
Overall, awesome.
All right, next. What do you got, Jeff?
All right, so I have maybe we'll call this on the spot for the listeners.
Okay.
I have a
On the
question
spot.
for all the listeners and all the watchers and everything else.
Not for us, though?
It's for us too. We can, but I want them to answer the question too. I loved SEMA. This is a terrible time for me to get off, so that's why I'm not in Vegas right now with mental. And we did it once already, and then we went to PRI, and I liked that even better. And because I think it was a little bit more of our community. Although SEMA's great, get to SEMA if you can. So we don't really have an event this year. So I'm going to make a suggestion. Right before COVID, we were trying to get media passes to the New York Auto Show. Do the listeners care? Is the content about a major automotive show matter? Would Mental be able to fly in? What are our thoughts on everyone racers going to the New York Auto Show on the spot, around the horn, whatever we want to call it? What are your thoughts, co-hosts?
Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, for free. Why not?
For
And
free,
have
right?
you two ever been to the New York show?
No, we go to Philly.
Yeah, Philly is minuscule.
But
Really?
I
in
also
New York.
love that we're in Philly when we're in it at the media time and it's just us and no one has like licked
Yeah.
the cars
True.
yet. And there's not all of the people.
We
which
had
is still
such a
makes
great
me-
time, right? There was 12.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of opening, the unveiling of cars
Oh,
that
yeah.
we just
But-
got to be right up next
Yeah.
to. And then
Well,
we
we
went
could
to our
actually
favorite
go to-
place for lunch.
Yeah.
We could go
Great.
to any car in the whole place and sit in it or like sit in the trunk of every single car. Which one do you fit
We
in?
did
Like,
that.
and not have just the great unwashed masses. That's
Yeah.
really what made me happy.
New York
I
is
enjoyed
probably
that. I enjoyed that in Atlanta as well because it was
Yeah.
a smaller show. New York has a press day,
Yeah.
but
And Philly had a
if
press day.
everyone's
Yeah.
but everyone's at New York. Locals are at Philly. So I mean,
Yeah.
when you guys went to the Philly press day, how many people were there?
50.
50
yeah.
media.
50,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. And Atlanta was the same way. And it was legitimately great because then you could you could ask good questions. And I remember going with Brian Medford for the Napa Know-How blog, and he's underneath the Dodge Ram with one of their steel metallurgists talking about the frame. And yeah, it was, New York is where like all the cool stuff gets to go. But if you want to learn about a car, man, those local shows are great. But yeah, I'd go to, yeah, sure. We don't have it at a
So,
big event. Let's try New York.
I'll say that New York show is probably close in size to PRI, like floor space wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eons ago when I went to the North American International, but Detroit show, it was like several buildings, and it was huge. And there's a growing thing that there's really, as the world is changing, there's only a couple shows that are going to survive, because now with the ability to do online unveilings and presentations, there's less and less emphasis on the shows
To
as
get
far as-
journalists to touch the actual metal.
well, or as just as far as unveiling a new product.
Yeah.
The new Mustang was unveiled at Detroit online.
Mhm.
Well,
Okay.
we can't go to
listeners-
Philly anyway. So
Yeah. So
we-
listeners, tell us what you would like us to cover. Tell us if there's anything that you think that we should absolutely make sure we do if we go to the New York Auto Show. And, how do you want us to cover it?
Gambler.
show?
Also,
Do you want
Gambler
us to
500.
write
We
stuff?
should do a gambler.
Yeah. Well, Gambler's not a bad idea. Just none of them are out this way,
Yeah, fair enough.
And
We
you
find a
have to buy
Northeast Gambler.
You'd have to find
Miata.
all of our cars. Anyway, there it is.
Northeast
That's
Gambler,
I guess
miracle.
that's the question. Tell us what you want to find out. Do we have any clue what we're doing next week?
Well, so we're on this. Eric Rude is going to be in the middle of the rally, but
Oh.
said he would like to come on and talk. Well, actually, I asked him. He said he fine mental as long as Jeff doesn't make any clown jokes. Come on and talk about the 2023 Lemon schedule as well as the rally schedule, because as we talked about that Alaska thing, they've already gotten 10 paid entries for the Alaska rally.
That's amazing.
Oh, so you're
for them.
burning pod. We didn't get there yet.
Well, I mean, that's okay. I think
I know.
people know the schedule.
I know.
Yeah, I think we do it. We'll discuss what day we're going to record, maybe later, because that doesn't really matter to the listeners, right?
Nope. Okay.
Awesome. I'm
Cool.
totally unprepared to have any music, so I'm going to do it without music. Thank you for downloading us. Thank you for racing with us. If you were at New Hampshire, we're really glad you said hi. I know I definitely talked to a bunch of listeners. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers if you're listening for the first time, because I definitely gave out a few business cards with our little hashtags on it. So yeah, we hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. If you're listening on the YouTube, talk to us right down there in the doodly-doo. Tell us what you got going on. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text Mental 484-243-0455. Instagram, Twitter, everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit at /E1R. We are everywhere. Thanks again.
And
go on.
sorry. And I thanks to everyone that's been interacting with the IG stories. I started with the Cars and Coffee last Sunday. Then I've been posting the SEMA stuff, been having lots of conversation with everybody. Genuinely enjoy that. Thank you.
Yeah. Keep talking to us on the social medias, and that's how you get on the listener feedback portion of the show. So I want to say thanks again, and keep the shiny side up. Unless some ass hat oiled down the track, then probably both sides are shiny and you won't be able to tell. So just keep those wheels down.